Hey, it's MK, and welcome to the very first once a month Build a Page with Dice layout. And then I'm also following a sketch from Follow a Sketch February, and it is sketch number 19 for what looked like Mariskania scraps. I'm not sure, you guys, but it was a blogspot.com. So I went on my Facebook group and I went ahead and rolled the dice and wrote down everything that it is. And then I also have another dice game that I play with my good friend Janet Fritz, who is Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube. And it is more for using up the things that you may or may not forget about that are in your stash. So that's what that list is. I have broken my list up into one dice representing embellishments and the other dice representing tooling. So here I'm just sharing with you guys that I picked out some stickers and cardstock from a Pink Fresh collection called Some Days. I also went with acrylic because in my Use It Up dice, I was either wood or acrylic, and I picked out this acrylic by Pear Tree Cut Files. And then I also had this Alpha Thickers section in my rolling of the dice. And so for my title, I picked a set of Thickers as well as a puffy word sticker from Thickers as well. One was a Vicky Boutin collection, and then there's this one from Simple Stories. So this is the title that I have come up with. It just says Run This because it is about the track that is on the boat. I have 11 pictures here because I took pictures of all the signs that were around the track that actually to me brought me joy in reading them because they were just silly, to be honest. So one of the other things that was part of my stash, I had chipboard and stickers. I did pick out Pink Fresh chipboard and stickers, but this film strip that we got from 2023's, I'm sorry, I forgot. Advent calendar are these film strips, and they're also stickers. I'm also going to do some stitching. That is part of my Use It Up dice, and I picked out my stitching ruler and this arrow print that I feel like is going to go really well with the running portion. And then from Cartabella, I've got this Let's Camp paper. I love this paper. It is one of my favorite plaids, and I say that about all the plaids, but it is from the Great Outdoor collection. I think it says the Great Outdoors. I don't know. Or did it just say outdoors? I don't remember. And then from Nature Study, the packaging has this gorgeous grungy blue paper on the back, so I'm going to use that. And then I got this paper. It clearly came from a paper pad, but I got it in one of Janet's paper kits that she made last year for a thrift store, like a flea market type of deal. And then she brought all of her extras to a retreat. And so I picked out 2 of those. And this is one of the papers from that. And then I've got 2 pages because I think this is going to end up in a double pager. I wasn't sure at first because I'm only going to use these 2 photos in their full size. All the rest of these, I'm actually going to cut the signs out so that way they become part of my embellishments. There was no need whatsoever for me to keep the whole picture or try to reduce the picture without actually just cutting out the sign. So that's what I'm going to end up doing, is cutting out all of these signs. I just thought that they were very, not really funny, haha, but funny for the runners to see because it's not, way to go, keep going, one more lap. They're not motivational like that. They were more in the lines of, don't forget to stretch, tie your shoelaces, things like that. So I thought it was great. All right, so I went ahead and I matted my photos on that 49 and Market packaging. And then I cut out all of my pictures and put them with my embellishments because now that's pretty much what they are. And I'm going to take this gorgeous plaid and cut it down to about 1.5 inches. I'm assuming that's what was part of the sketch. The sketch actually was a lot more or a lot less, and I wanted it to be bigger. I wanted to fill up more space because I'm not putting 6 photos on my layout. I'm actually only putting 2, but with the embellishments being photos, I've got 11. So I don't know how that would work out. I did pull out another tool. It's my circle cutter because the sketch had 2 circles in it. I'm actually going to cut out 4 because, again, I have a lot of space to fill in. So I'm going to incorporate some circles around my photos as well as putting the circles where the sketch wants me to put the circles. So I am a sketch off. I did not do day 3's sketch, even though today is day 3 for Follow a Sketch February. This sketch is actually from day 2, just in case you guys are curious as to when this sketch was. It was actually yesterday's sketch. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish chopping up this piece of paper. And the paper was actually a lot thicker than I expected it to be. I think it has some sort of coating on it. I don't really know, but it did take a lot of effort to try and get the blades to go all the way through. So I'm going back and forth and back and forth. But my first 2 circles, I actually had to cut out with scissors because I did not push enough, and I didn't want to risk not placing it back where it belonged, if that makes sense. All right, so then I'm going to take my edge distresser and distress all of the edges from my circles. I already distressed my photos, but I'm going to distress the edges of my plaid paper, and then I still have that little yellow piece of paper. I'm going to add that in there too, because I think that is going to just be a great pop of color and also allow me to blend these 2 prints together, even though these 2 prints I probably would have never used together on a layout at all. Actually, I probably wouldn't have used that yellow print ever. But clearly I used it at one point because it's a scrap. Either that or Janet sold it to me as a scrap, but I don't remember. I think I did end up using it. I'm not really sure. And then, of course, I went ahead and I tossed out the rest, just to let you guys know, because I did not know when I was going to use that yellow ever again. And I used the important parts with the imprinted wording and canceled stamps and things like that on it. So I feel like I used the portions of the paper that I would have used. So yes, the rest of the paper did end up in the trash. I apologize. So I went ahead and I cut all of these strips, not knowing exactly how wide my piece of paper was. Luckily, I guessed right, and I got 4 equal strips, and I just went ahead and trimmed them all flush, so that way when I went to go put them on the paper, I could butt them up and make them longer. So I'm only going to distress one side, the long sides of each piece, and then I'm going to cut my film strip in half so that way I can use it at the bottom of my layout as well as at the top of my layout. So I just wanted to make sure that whatever I do at the bottom of the strip of decorations, I do at the top as well. So I just wanted to incorporate that just a little bit too. So now that I have everything done, I do like, I know this is strange, but I actually like working for my layouts. And what I mean by that is I like customizing my things. I like prepping, doing all the prep work first before just diving into the layout and getting it set up and then wishing that I would have done something a little different. I like doing all of this prep work. It does take me a little longer to do layouts, but this is one of the things that I just love doing, is just all of this prep work and all of the edge distressing first and actually really having all of my supplies ready to put the layout together without second guessing myself. So I already knew not really how I wanted the layout to go, but I kind of envisioned what I wanted to be the main stars of my layout, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and follow the sketch, and I'm going to make a border with a circle, the largest circle down at the bottom right. Nope, that's a left. The bottom left, and then that will also represent where my title goes. And then I'm going to add 2 circles over by my photos because, again, I only have the 2 photos. And once I start adding all of the other photos, it kind of fills in a lot. And I do like how it ends up looking, if I'm being honest. It's one of my favorite layouts that I have done so far for February. I'm just going to say I really was excited with how this looked. I was excited that the dice helped me pick embellishments for this because all I picked out were the photos and the little scraps of paper, and I did not have a clue how I was going to embellish this. And luckily, I rolled the dice. I got the suggestions from the dice. Now, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but I really enjoyed knowing what it was that I was going to need to go pull out instead of just thumbing through everything and trying to guess. If I did not have the dice tell me, go find chipboard, go find stickers, and don't forget to put a title, which I don't need anything to tell me that those are the things I need. But if I didn't, I would have been searching for something, not knowing what it was that I was looking for. So to be honest, the first thing that I pulled out for this layout was an old Creative Memories. And I say old, I think it was last year. An old Creative Memories die cut pack for my son's cross country that I bought. The blues would not have matched. I would have been ever so disappointed because I would have hoed and hummed because I wish the blues would have matched, but they would not have. They were more light blue rather than this aqua blue. And then I had the yellow would have matched beautifully, by the way. That would probably be the only thing that would have matched from that set of die cuts that I had found. And then I would have added a lot of labels just to do filler pieces and what are they called? Layering pieces. Other than that, it's not, I'm outside, but you can't tell that I am outside. In fact, the rounding of the corner, that's the end of the ship. And so it is enclosed, but both ends are open. So you feel a huge breeze, especially if you get up before the sun, which I always do. Actually, I do one lap on this deck, and that, not one lap, I apologize, 1 mile on this deck. And it is on deck 5. Then I take the stairs all the way up to deck 15. And then I wait till the sun rises and take sunrise photos, which are gorgeous, especially if it's wet outside or anything like that. And then if I haven't finished my second mile, I will go back down and finish my second mile, and then stopping at the end of the ship. So this must be the front of the ship then. At the end of the ship, it has a little area with chairs and everything where you can step out and view the sunrise or sunset. It's gorgeous. And so I will take more pictures. And the best part is at the back of the boat, you get the wake in those photos. And it is just beautiful. I just can't express it enough. So I do take pictures both up at the top deck and on this deck. So anyways, so I went ahead and I divided and conquered where I wanted all of my little pieces. I love the little one ways, and then the starting line, and it's got the little running potty people on it. And then I mixed up a bunch of pieces, like the one that says one way, it says fasten your laces, and then down by the mile markers, which tells you how many laps you have to do to get one lap, and so on and so forth. It also says keep your pace, so that way you don't slow down. And then there's an idle sign, and it says that there's an idling law, and if you idle, you pay up to $800. It just made me giggle. There's 2 different types of stretching, yield signs. And then of course there's a street sign there that says, this is the jogging track, but if you get off here, this is where the boardwalk, I think, auditorium is, which is where the one of the water shows takes place. So I just thought that it was just so cool, you guys. I'm not gonna lie, it is just so cool. So of course I put geotags on there. I've got a bunch of little stickers, and the someday stickers were perfect for this. I found one that is Monday through Friday, which is great because that is usually I take the weekends off. I found some labels. I found one label that had the number 2 on it because I always try to walk 2 miles a day. It's just a goal that I have for myself. And then, I found one that has a word that says outdoors, and then it's got a little plant next to it. And then I found a label that also had the little plant on it. So I thought, oh, that's perfect because I am technically outside. If you want to get technical, the track is about, 70%, maybe even 80% outside. So I think that's pretty cool. And then I found a star rating, so I thought that was neat too. And then I found another sticker that said fresh air, and then my circle sticker in the green up in the upper right. I think that says wake up and be awesome. So I really liked that one as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my title, which just says run this. And the last thing I'm going to do, which I think is the last thing, but I haven't done stitching yet. But I think it's my last thing, and I'm going to add all of these acrylic stars. Now, what I did on my acrylic stars is I actually, they all come apart. And I put my light blue and my aqua stars inside all of my white star frames, and then I stuck all of my white stars inside the light blue and aqua frames. And then I left my solid blue, because these are more like see-through blue, I left my solid blue stars in the packaging. I decided not to use those ones. And I really liked how pastel-y and see-through these stars were, because I wanted to add the blue, but I didn't want it. I knew I wouldn't ever find a perfect match to this plaid. And this was very helpful, because when I put it down on top of things, it changed the color of blue. And so it was just absolutely perfect. I think I'm using a white background, but it definitely looks off-white here. So I definitely wanted to bring in more of the white, especially there's white, everywhere. And then here is where I remembered the stitching. So I went ahead and left the stitching of the, like the poking of all of the holes. And this is where I realized, oh no, I wasn't supposed to go all the way to the edge. Well, I didn't go that far on the bottom. I went ahead and poked those holes, but I did not end up going that far. And I thought, oh, nobody's going to notice those little holes poked in there. And at the top I remembered, so I only went so far, and decided that, okay, that is perfect. And then I will stitch the top on camera, but I have to tell you guys, it's very uber boring. I'm out of focus or out of camera most of the time, and my fingers are always in the way because I'm always feeling over the hole. So when I go back through, I poke and I know that I'm in that right hole, right? Especially when it comes to paper, I have to constantly flip it upside down and look to see where that hole is, because it's not like cross stitch where I can just poke a hole. Nope, that's not it, because that's not where my finger is, and just keep poking until you get to your finger and then you instantly go back up. Paper's not like that. Paper, you need to know where the hole is, or you're going to end up poking a lot of holes in your paper, and then your fingers are going to end up hurting a lot. So for me, I just find it easier and faster if I keep my paper tipped up some, and then I can see the front and the back, and just go through each little hole. I usually find a pattern or a rhythm that works for me, and just stay with it, so that way I am consistent for all of my stitching, right? Instead of trying to bounce back and forth between all of them. So there they are. I've stitched at the top, and then I stitched at the bottom. You can kind of see, especially in the close-ups, my the holes that I did not do, but I kind of like them. Only on the yellow, mostly. So there they are. But that was my bad for not paying attention. And I think this is going to have to be one of my favorite layouts for February. I really do like how this turned out. And I am so glad that I rolled the dice, because I would have not had a clue how to decorate this page and how to tell my story of how Janet thought I was completely nuts, that I would wake up in the morning and go do this track on my vacation. But it was great. It was so fun, and I just got a lot of great pictures. I was able to walk the ship and get a ton of pictures with no people in it, of all the restaurants that we went to, the restaurant signs, all that stuff for my layouts. Not that I didn't like the fact that there was people in my layouts, but when I want to show a sign or something, somebody's head kind of always gets in the way. All right, you guys, so don't forget to check out the links that I have down below for Follow a Sketch February. A lot of girls are playing along this month, and so Sandy made us a playlist, so don't forget to check out the playlist. And then if you are interested in playing along with the Build a Page Challenge, it is posted over on my Facebook group, and I have an album for you to go and put your page in there and your inspiration. and what you created with the elements that we rolled for to make a page. It was super fun. And like I said, I definitely am glad, because I would not have known where to go with this had I not have, had help. All right, you guys, thank you so much, and I will check y'all later. Bye.